Armoire makes getting dressed easy. With a clothing rental membership from Armoire, build the perfect wardrobe with brands that are high quality, unique, and recommended just for you. All you have to do is take a 5-minute style quiz and select items from your dynamic personalized closet. The styles show up at your door in as little as 2 days. Then when you're ready for new clothes, just swap them out for more new-to-you styles. Now, I went on a girls' trip to Santa Fe recently, and I rented all of my outfits from Armoire. It was so much fun putting together a mix of casual and formal looks, and my favorite was this pair of white, wide-legged jeans from Paige that went well with everything. Now, I wouldn't normally own anything white because I can be kind of clumsy, but with Armoire, I just ship it back and they'll take care of keeping the pants in pristine condition. Right now, our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off their first month. That's up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That is armoire.style, spelled ARMOIRE.style/DATEABLE to get up to 50% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today.
Could your daily routine be full of hormone disruptors? There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living rent-free in our environment right now. In our food, our water, the air we breathe, the clothes we wear, our skincare, they all mess with our hormones. The good news is we don't have to suffer through it anymore because now we have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms of women of all ages. Since I've been using Hormone Harmony, I have felt more balanced, and other women feel the same way. The biggest benefit, they say, is feeling like myself again. That's what women mention over and over in their reviews, and there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today. And I'm Julie Kraftchick,
Dating Insiders,
here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
welcome to Dateable. Oh, hey friends.
Welcome back. We are doing Brunch Talk, first of the new season.
First one of season 20.
Woo, 20. The big time now.
It's been a while since we've done a brunch talk, so I had to think about what do we talk about at brunch talk? But you know what? We're going to try something different. We're going to talk about new stuff during brunch talk, in addition to answering your dating burning questions.
Yeah, when Yue and I actually were in Orange County together, we were just talking about, everything with Dateable. And one thing that we were talking about is how do we make brunch talk maybe a little fresher and different?
Mm-hmm.
And, we just wanted to use this as a forum because a lot of you, anyone that's been with Dateable for a while probably knows the many iterations we've been through. But we used to do longer intros that were more kind of shooting the shit. And people really liked that. Oh, and then also other people were like, I just want to get to the topic. So we've now formed those interview episodes more around the topic. So we're like, how do we bring that element back of more conversational, any updates, any just general events and current events. I don't know if that's the right word, but in dating, but current events in dating, but any hot topics we want to talk about. And of course, we'll answer listener questions as well.
And we just have so much shit going on. We just want to tell you all. This is going to be our time. Tell you what's going on.
It is. So yeah, Yue, I personally, this is a little selfish motive for doing this too, but I do miss going out to brunch with you. So maybe I'm getting this a little fulfilled by this as well.
Well, what's fun is at the time of recording this, we're a week before our LA events for our book. So I'll get to see Julie for a few days. And it's going to be the one in LA. By the time this airs, those of you who came to our event, thank you so much in the future. But I'm so excited because we're going to one of my favorite bookstores in LA called the Village Well, and it's right across the street from one of my favorite brunch places.
Oh,
so I think
can we
might
go?
have to, yeah.
Okay.
we got to get
where this is going?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, we got to get our shakshuka.
Ooh, yeah.
Brunch. Yeah.
The one thing that always baffled me about you, though, Yue, is that you revealed to me. I feel like I went to brunch with you so many times, and then you're like, I don't actually like eggs, and I'm like, what?
I know. This is actually a good topic for anybody who's in this age range. So I've gotten DEXA scans the last few years, and my bone density has really gone down year by year. And this is very prevalent for Asian women specifically. We just have weak bones. So now I've incorporated eggs back into my diet, and I'm learning to like eggs again, but they're so fucking expensive. I have to ration my eggs. They're more expensive than my coffee right now.
You know, I think it's funny. I'm just like laughing because I have been just in the trenches of wedding planning along with book launch planning. And I swear, I think I'm just like going a little like crazy the last couple weeks. I'm just like, I have all these spreadsheets and I'm just like, knock, all these things off my list. And I'm just like going back and forth between different email accounts. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind.
Well, I saw an event on our shared calendar of a walkthrough. And I was like, I wonder if this is a walkthrough for her wedding venue or a walkthrough for one of our book events.
No, that was actually a book event. That was a book event. I was like, wait, did I fuck up? Yeah.
One of these days, you're going to book something related to your wedding on our shared calendar.
Oh, I've definitely like logged into like my homeowners association meetings, like with the Dateable account by accident because it's like Zoom meetings. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I need to sign out right now.
Hello.
Yeah. They're like, who
buy
are
book,
Julie and Yue from Dateable? Anyways, why I brought it up is because I was talking to a caterer and like their food looked incredible. But it was absurdly expensive, like so expensive, like double the prices I was getting back from everywhere else. And I'm sure the prices justified it, but again, at some point you have to it's like, I don't know, I think wedding food can be good, don't get me wrong, but it's never going to be like a Michelin star experience. And I think there's always like a line of being good, and food is clearly very important to my partner and I, so we're not like trying to sacrifice here. We're still trying to go like pretty high end in the scheme of things. But this was just like so over the top, right? So I kind of wrote and was like, hey, like, would you be able to maybe like do 2 choices of meals instead of 3? You know, that's like standard for a wedding. Or like maybe we don't need this like after snacks, you know, or like the bar, maybe we can like pull that back a little because it wasn't even alcohol. It was like mixers. And I got a call from them that was like, you know, eggs are just really expensive right now. And I was like, what?
Wait, what?
Yes. And they called me like 4 times. I'm not going to like say who it is because whatever. It's not like a bad thing. But I was just like, they called me 4 times, like literally the night before our book was going out. And I'm like, I can't deal with this right now.
Wait, but are they incorporating eggs in everything? Like even in the mixer?
Yeah, maybe it's like egg yolks, like in the, I don't know. But I was just like, okay, like I've been getting a ton of quotes. This one is significantly more, you know, like significantly.
I'm going to use that excuse from now on. If I'm late for a meeting or if I piss someone off, I'm just going to be like, I'm sorry, just eggs are so expensive right now. Totally unrelated. I'm sorry I was driving so fast in this 55 lane. Eggs are just so expensive.
I will say though, I was able to nail down our wedding venue and date, and I just feel like a huge sense of relief. It was like that in the book all in one week, and I'm just like, I can like breathe a little that like things are at least in motion in both ways, right? Yue is actually going to come on a tasting with us while she's in town for the next group of events. So we're doing LA, and then we have SF events. So if you're listening to this now, you still actually can come for the SF events, which is great. So we have 2 events that we're doing Valentine's Day weekend. So we have the 14th, we're going to be doing an event at Neon, which is the space on Union Street that I love. I walk by it all the time. They're going to host this event for Neon members, but then also Dateable members. It's a ticketed event. They'll include like drinks and snacks. And, you know, we'll obviously do like our talk, and it'll be more interactive around the dating archetypes because everyone loves those. We're also going to have a little like celebration at the end and officially toast like the kickoff to the SF, you know, events of how to be dateable. And we would have done the same in LA.
And there may be an after party. We don't know yet. Stay tuned.
Yeah, Yue's friend is on it. He is really wanting to set this up at one of the clubs.
Yeah, he really wants to party.
I'm like, oh my God. But I will be there. If it happens, I will be there.
We're going to make it happen. I'm also chuckling so hard because one of the things Julie and I always talk about is like, we just don't enjoy event planning. And here she is planning multiple events at once, including her wedding.
Okay, so I'll clarify. I don't actually mind like the tactical side of it. I don't like the anxiety of not knowing who's going to come.
Yeah.
That's the part that kills me. So I feel like I'm okay going down a spreadsheet and being like, yep, I got to do this, you know?
Yeah. You're right. It's like selling tickets and like making sure seats are filled. Yes, that part is anxiety inducing. But I think it's so funny. You're like planning multiple events at once.
Well, part of why I was like, I want to get like the heavy lifting of the wedding stuff done is because I knew like the next couple of weeks with our book too is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
Like we were like spending the last month, January, really touring. Every weekend we were going on tours.
Yeah.
And it was actually quite fun. And you also got a lot of free wine too. Just saying.
Julie's still wasted right now.
I know, my partner, I'm just kidding. This is very unethical, so we wouldn't do this. We're like, should we still keep touring after we have the place?
Fuck being unethical. I was saying I would just want to go. I just want to pretend I'm having a wedding every weekend.
I mean, they wouldn't know, but yes, of course, there's a line of being respectful. But I'm excited because we have our other event that we're going to do at Book Passage in Marin on the 15th. And Dr. Marie Tuin, who we've had on this podcast, is going to be our in conversation partner. So any Marin dateables or anyone that just wants to get out of the city and go for a hike first and then head over, it's not till 4, so you get the full day.
Yeah.
Yue and I will be going to a wedding caterer tasting first.
Is there going to be alcohol at this tasting?
Ooh, I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Which might be for the best.
Yes. It's like, I don't even want to drink, but the Chinese in me is like, you got to take that free shit. Like, you got to drink.
You know, we are kind of on like this timeline because this caterer particularly is like, look, we have you as a soft hold, but like we only have one slot left. So if like someone else comes in, so that's why we're like trying to do all this quick. So I was like, I don't know, like, is you ain't gonna want to do this? It's kind of weird. And then I was like, at the same time, we have 4 slots. It's the same price as if we do 2 slots. So we might as well just use it. And it gets comped if you end up going with them. Yeah, it's like a full apps, salad, main course, like full meal. Probably dessert too. So Yue and our friend Louise will also be joining us on this tasting before the event.
I was deeply disappointed that you even hesitated in asking me. Because the way you asked me, it was like, I thought you were going to ask me to give you a kidney. You're like, this is going to sound weird. It's okay if you think this is weird.
I'm like, you could say no. Yeah, because I like asked Yue before I even asked my partner.
And then she's like, do you want to get a free meal? I'm like, fuck yes. Why? And what's the follow-up? Like, what is the weird part to this? Is
You're
there
like,
more?
Is this a question? I know. Yeah. And, thinking back on it, because I didn't want to make you do like errands with me, but this is a fun one.
It's not an errand compared to my friend who used to take me on her Costco and Trader Joe's runs. That's a little different. And I never even got a meal out of it.
Slightly different. I'm really glad that we've been able to just unpack all of this. I want to go into like the topic that we're going to talk about, which is about age gap relationships. But before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
Did you know that an estimated 5 billion plastic hand soap and cleaning bottles are thrown away each year? That's a lose-lose situation for you and the planet. Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet with the same powerful clean you're used to. The idea is simple. They offer refillable cleaning products with a beautiful cohesive design. You just fill your reusable bottles with water, drop in the tablets, and wait for them to dissolve. You'll never have to grab bulky cleaning supplies ever again. And I have to say, since switching to Blue Land products at home, I'm experiencing far less allergies and inflammation. And generally, it just feels so good to be using clean products, especially with my dog around. Blue Land has a special offer for our listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/dateable. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/dateable for 15% off. That's blueland.com/dateable to get 15% off. Let's be honest, we all stress about our relationship sometimes, right? But what if those thoughts take over your life? and you feel this deep need to do something about them. Maybe this drives you to constantly check for signs that your relationship's okay, ask for reassurance from your partner or loved ones, or compare your relationship to others. These can be signs of relationship OCD, a type of obsessive compulsive disorder that focuses on your relationships. Now, not every therapist understands OCD or is qualified to treat it effectively, which can make it difficult to find the right kind of help. And that's where NoCD comes in. With NoCD, you can do virtual therapy with a licensed therapist who specializes in treating all types of OCD. They can teach you how to set those fears and doubts aside so that you can enjoy your relationship and your life. To find out more about therapy with NoCD, go to nocd.com and book a free 15-minute call with their team. That's nocd.com to learn more and book a free call. Trust me, it's worth your time to talk to someone who can uncover what's really going on and help you get your life back.
I've been getting so many compliments lately on my wardrobe, and that's because it looks so damn luxurious. But the secret is that while I like luxury items, I can't always afford them until I discovered Quince. Quince is my go-to for luxury essentials at affordable price because who doesn't love the good things in life? Quince offers a range of high-quality items at prices within reach, like 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50, washable silk tops and dresses, organic cotton sweaters, and 14-karat gold jewelry. I've been pairing my cashmere oversized crew neck sweater with their wool straight leg pants, and I legit look stylish for once. The best part of all is that Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable. We got a really good question in our Facebook group about age gap and like, can they work? So I'm curious, like, your take on this as well. Like, it was really good to see like people commenting their opinions in the Facebook group, but I feel like it almost needs like more conversation than it even got.
Yeah. What would you even consider an age gap relationship? Anything more than 10 years, 15 years?
I mean, this example, she was in her 40s, or 40-year-old woman, and she was saying that she met an amazing 28-year-old. So that's like, what, a little over 10 years? So I'd probably say, to me, I guess 10 years kind of does feel like that. I don't know. I think 10 or more feels like it's a definite age gap. But I could also see, I don't know, like 5 years. Do you think that's age gap or just like run of the mill?
I think it really depends on your stage in life. If it was like a 50-year-old and a 40-year-old, that seems like no big deal to me. And in fact, like my man friend, he's 7 years older than me. So he's in his 50s. I'm in my 40s. I just feel like we're kind of in the same range. But if you're a 40-year-old woman with kids and you're dating a 20-some-year-old guy who's never been married with kids, I think it's more about the stage in life versus the number.
So in this example, this was from an anonymous member too. So they're staying anonymous on this brunch talk. But it's a good shout out actually that you can be anonymous if you don't want to put your name on the Facebook group. But they said that they were 40 who doesn't want children but wants a long-term romantic partner. And she was saying, I've dated actively in my life, which has given me extremely clear sense of what I want and need in a relationship and partner, plus what's quote unquote out there.
Yeah.
So she said she's been working with a coach who encouraged her to date closer to her age. And then, of course, she met this amazing 28-year-old that she's been just enjoying spending time with and seems to be kind of meeting like what she's been looking for.
It makes perfect sense to me as a woman in my 40s, and also seeing that one of my favorite shows is Younger.
Oh my God,
our favorite shows.
I've been re-watching it right now.
Same.
It's like the 10th time I've rewatched that show.
It's actually one of the hottest shows on Netflix right now. So I'm so glad it's making a resurgence. But if you are not familiar with the show, it stars Sutton Foster. She's a Broadway star who's now dating Hugh Jackman. Anyway, that's besides the point. She stars this woman who was married with kids. She's in her 40s, lived in the suburbs in New Jersey. And she, after a divorce, divorce, she wanted to re-enter the workforce, but she couldn't find a job because she was either overqualified or really kind of like irrelevant because she hadn't caught up with a lot of the modern day work life. And her roommate gives her this idea of going in as a 20-some-year-old and interviewing for an assistant job. And she looks really good for her age, so she was able to pull it off. But what I really love about the show is that her first love interest is this 20-some-year-old tattoo guy. And she said something in an episode I watched last night. She's like, I already did the life of being the wife and the mom and the housewife and the, all of the suburb and that phase of life. Now I'm looking to just do something for me. And Josh is just for me. And so I think in that sense, like she wasn't looking to get married or have kids again. She just wanted to do something for her soul.
So can we unpack this more though? Because later in the show,
yes,
she actually breaks up with Josh because she can't give him the life that she thinks that he wants, which is having kids again. So I would say that's maybe the one factor too. Like maybe you're good not doing that, but does your partner want that? And will that cause a challenge? But then I'm sorry for anyone that hasn't watched the show. I feel like I'm kind of giving it away. But like she ends up with someone age appropriate. I'm going to try to be vague just to not give it fully away. But then ultimately, like she realizes that like the right person for her was Josh, who she pushed away because of this age. Like he was that partner that like could give her truly what she wanted. And he wanted her more than quote unquote, like this life he thought he wanted.
But the point at that intersection in their relationship was that he had to go through some other life milestones, let's just say that, to realize that he still wants to be with her. And I think in a circumstance in an age gap relationship, one of you is still uncertain of if you're aligned on these, like, having kids and getting married and all of that. It kind of makes sense to take a break so that people can pursue maybe this to see if this is what they're looking for and then find each other again if they're meant for each other.
I think it really comes down to talking clearly and like getting clear of what you both want. Like we have a friend, both of us have a friend has
I have many friends, Julie.
I know. It's like, but the friend I'm going to talk about is a mutual friend.
Yes.
They're in a 10-year gap, but she's always been undecided on kids. He's also been undecided. And she has like eggs frozen too. So it's not like there's no possibility. And, I think like because there's not like someone that has like such a strong drive either direction, they can still make it work and like figure it out together. It goes back to our perfect partner equation. I'll say that it really doesn't even have to do with age. It's like, do your futures align, at least from now, like what you're ultimately looking for? And then like, what are the feelings and fundamentals of this relationship?
And I hate to bring it back to gender, but I think it's a different story when you have an older man and a younger woman versus an older woman and a younger man. And I've seen the older man and a younger woman. One of my friends is in a very large age gap relationship.
That's true.
And she's like, it's kind of cool because he's down for whatever. Like if I want kids, he's like, great. If I don't want kids, he's like, great. And she kind of drives a ship in that relationship because he just wants companionship.
Yeah.
But with the flipped around, I feel like women are still driving that relationship. And sometimes we have to dictate like where that relationship is going.
So I see what you're saying, but I guess from my perspective, I think there's pros and cons regardless of your gender. So I don't know if it's as like, oh, that way. Like for instance, in what you're explaining, you've got like the nurse and purse situation. Someone actually wrote that in our Facebook group under this as a comment. If you have a huge gap, like one person is going to be elderly in a different stage of life than the other person. You're not going to be going through it together as much. And again, none of these are deal breakers. Like if you want to make it work, you can make it work. It's just, I guess, things to be aware of. But the reality is like with any relationship, there's always going to be something. I think that's what I've learned is like there's always something. You just need to pick what that something is and can you like navigate it and work through it ultimately.
I mean, ultimately, let's just not hold on to the outcome of relationships. Age gap relationships will pose a problem if you're like, we have to be together forever. This has to last. But if you're like what Liza experiencing younger, she's enjoying herself. She's doing something for herself. it is helping her grow and learn, then treat it as just that, and you don't need to hold on to the ending of that relationship. With every relationship, you can't hold on to
Yeah.
it. And it's like we can't force anything to work out or to be there for the long run, but we can surely optimize the experience that we're currently having.
I mean, I think ultimately it does come back to what you said up top is like, are you in the same life stage? Are you both equals?
Mm,
If pending you want an equal relationship. I don't want to say everyone wants that. I'm assuming most people listening to Dateable want more of that, like mutual respect and all of that, but not everyone does. Some people just want like a sugar daddy and like someone to take care of them. It's not always assumed that it's that. That being said, like I think if you have a situation where one person is like parenting the other and
mm,
like talking down to them because they're
true.
younger, or you're feeling like you're being treated that way because this person is an elder, I think that's where some weird power dynamics can come in. But that's not to say that every age gap relationship is like that at all. So I think that to me is more what I would look for than quote unquote like the actual number of years.
Yes. And you yourself has to be accepting of the age gap. You have to be the one okay with being in public with this age gap relationship, because my friend certainly is not the one I was talking
Mm,
about with the big age gap. She feels like people stare at them and make
yeah.
comments. That might just be because also the energy you're giving off too. In every relationship, you have to be confident with your relationship first before seeing if society accepts it. Like, who cares if society accepts you or not? You have to accept it.
Right. And like our friend that I talked about, her and her partner, even though they have 10 years difference, I would say they give off pretty much the same energy.
Same energy.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that there was an age gap.
I don't think anyone that didn't know their ages would know that there's a difference at
No,
all.
exactly. It's lifestyle too.
I just learned that one of my best friends, who I thought her partner was 36, and it turned out he was 32, and she's like about to turn 40.
Oh.
I didn't
Oh,
even know
shit.
that. But like
Oh.
it again, it's
Who
like
knew?
kind of like it doesn't matter because the vibe is the same.
Yeah.
Like the extra 4 years doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, and they're looking for the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, because you know what? It's like when you are a little ashamed of the age gap or you're self-conscious about it, you'll start seeing all the other problems that come along with it. It's their family members, it's your family members, it's their friends who, in the way they talk about you. You'll start noticing all the little things that are disapproving of your relationship. So it just goes back to you have to be confident in your relationship first.
And I think it's kind of like what you were saying about race the other week,
Mm,
that like sometimes we get so focused on this one thing where
yeah.
it's like just another factor. Like you were saying about race, like instead of looking at it as race, it's like, let's talk about upbringing.
Hmm.
Like I would say with age, for instance, like, instead of looking at it as like the number, how are you being treated by this person? Do you have
Yeah.
things in common? Are you in a similar life stage? All of that.
Right. And then it's like, are you operating in the same way that feels good? What I mean by that is you don't have to have everything in common. You won't when you have an age gap. But do you want to operate a day to day life in the same way?
Right.
And that's more important than do we like the same music or do we have the same taste in food?
I will say to this listener, though, there's a part of the question was, I want to cut things potentially because this coach told me not to date someone.
Mm.
I,
Ooh.
I don't think you should. I don't want to ever give anyone like advice, like don't do this, but I'd say
No.
listen to yourself on this one. I think just generalizing isn't always a good thing either. I would look really through an objective eye, though. Like, is this person at the stage in life that I am and able to beat me where I'm trying to go?
Yeah. Are we able to meet each other's needs in this
Yeah.
moment in time and don't overthink the future? I mean, there was a guy I dated years ago who he had been married for 7 years. And when they first got married, neither one of them wanted to have kids. And 7 years into the marriage, his wife decided she wanted kids. They didn't have an age gap. The point is, you don't know what the future holds and you don't know who's going to change their mind. So kind of like don't overthink what that could be. More focus on what is it that we both need today and can we get each other towards that direction too. But if someone's like 100% sure they absolutely do need kids, then that's something to discuss, right?
I think the other thing, this I can see why the coach said it, because we often have this thing that like if you're 40, you're mature, you're ready for a
Yeah.
relationship. If you're in your 20s, you're not. I will say I know a lot of 40-year-olds that are not ready for a relationship. I'm sure there's some correlation the older you get. Like I'm sure if you look at studies, yes, of course there's going to be some stats that show this like as a population at large. But I think we really need to look at the individual instead of making blanket assumptions that this 28-year-old is less committed than a fellow 40-year-old, because that might not be accurate. And it would be a shame to throw out a potentially great relationship just because they're 28 without, digging and doing the other diligence.
Have you ever experienced an age gap romance or a makeout sesh or hookup or a fling?
I have not. I've always
No.
been around my age bracket. I
Mhm.
thought once when I first worked at Yahoo, I hooked up with this guy there that was an intern. And I thought for
Oh.
a second that like, oh my God, this is like when I was like fresh out of college. I was like, oh my God, intern. Again, this is a good parallel actually, because you take that like age, right? Or like the
Yeah.
association. Intern to me meant he was like 18. And
Yeah.
it turned out he was older than me. He
Oh.
was just like a 6-year senior. But again, it's like the assumption, right? Like intern,
Mhm.
you think youngin. But yeah, there was one person that I had a situationship with. I would not say relationship, that we had a 4-year difference. That was the largest, but that's still not that large.
Yeah, no, I
No.
feel like that's
But there
yeah.
was, okay, so that one though, it felt like a gap because he was so much more immature and not wanting what I wanted. So I guess
Yeah.
that shows you again that it's more about where they are at and what they're looking for. I mean, there definitely is some truth that like women mature faster,
Yeah.
but it's not universal by any means. Have you, outside of your current one, like, is this the first?
No, the 2-year relationship, he was 9 years older
Oh,
than
right.
me.
I forgot about him. Duh.
I know, but it's strange because when I met him, he was in his mid-40s, but he seemed like he was my age or maybe younger because he
He
had a
looked young.
roommate.
He
He looked
looked
young,
really
but he
young, yeah.
he had roommates. He
Mhm.
was kind of stuck, I want to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Stunted, yes.
there we go. Maybe that's a better word. I don't know. Neither is a good word. But I had to be reminded that this was a guy nearing 50. Now he's like well in his 50s. I would still not label him as that stage, right?
He didn't give off that energy, but you did say there were some parts that, remember he was like, wanted to like sit around more and wasn't as active. And you told me some of that stuff.
But I think that's just him. I don't think it has to do with his age.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think it's his personality. Yeah, it's his upbringing. Yes.
You could be a couch potato and be 20. Like, it's not like because
Totally.
you're older.
Yeah. It wasn't like he was lacking energy. It was just like he didn't want to spend that energy.
Right.
So I think that's probably the largest age gap. But, I've talked about a period in my life in New York where I was dating someone 5 years younger and someone 5 years older. And I was in the middle. I was 30, dating a 25-year-old and a 35-year-old. And even though I was able to get along with both, and I was like, I was my own Liza. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It was my own Liza, my younger experiment. I felt I was able to get all of my needs met through the two of them. But when I look at them side by side, there was a huge gap between the two of them. There was a very apparent 10-year gap. But me being in the middle kind of didn't really matter because I had tendencies either way. So that was kind of interesting too. And I definitely felt at the end, because I ended up dating the younger one, that didn't last very long because I think it was just neither one of them was right for me. But them both combined was perfect for me.
So I'm not sure if we gave this person a concrete answer, but I guess we did. I guess we did. Like, you just have to evaluate the person at the end of the day.
Yeah. Take the age off the table and get your relationship to a place that you feel confident about. Have all the discussions, regardless of their age.
Yeah.
You want to know, like, what is it that you are looking for? What does the future look like for you, ideally? And then once you have a good foundation, then you can build out from there. It really doesn't matter how old they are, as long as they're legal.
They're legal, yes. You know what you need is chapter 6, gaining clarity of how to be dateable, because we'll give you an exercise in there to determine your dating North Star, which will give you clarity of what you're actually looking for so you can see if this person can meet that. And then there's also the perfect partner equation that we talked about. This is what you need more than, should I date someone 40 or 28? My coach says not to do it. Like, this is what you need.
There you go. I love that. Because when you have clarity in what you are looking for, you're no longer labeling yourself as the older one or the younger one in a relationship. What we've learned is that if you enter a relationship with a specific identity, then you end up playing towards that identity. So if someone enters being like, I'm the older one, I'm the more mature one, I'm the one who's seen life, both of you are going to expand and emphasize that. So if both of you have relationship goals that are separate from your age, then you end up getting rid of the identities that are trapping you.
Yeah. And then also when you gain that clarity, you can listen to your own intuition and trust it. Not the coach, not the people in the Facebook group, not all the random people that, you know, don't know your situation. Not that the people in the Facebook group aren't adding help, but the reality is they don't know this person. They don't know you. They don't know the person. And neither do we at the end of the day. So we can only advise you on the steps to take so you can form that decision.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, this was a meaty one. I'm glad that we were able to go into this topic and update people on some stuff that's going on. And we'll be back next week because we also have some more events that we'll be telling you about too.
Yes. All right. Hope you guys like this new format for Brunch Talk. Send in your questions. You can email us hello@dateablepodcast.com. You can DM us on Instagram @dateablepodcast. The best way is if you leave us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. In the body of your review, tell us something that you are implementing from our book today.
Yeah.
Start with that. And then ask your question at the end. And then we will make sure we get your question bumped up to the top.
Yes. And if you're on Spotify, still leave that review and you can always email us. We will honor those as well. Awesome. Okay. Well,
see y'all next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.